Right, put down what you're doing, saddle in. Nick Frost has been cast as Hagrid in the HBO Harry Potter series. Yes! Right, so, I'm not gonna lie, I was not gassed about the rumours about Brett Goldstein playing him, which I covered in my video a couple of weeks ago about HBO casting rumours. But no matter, because it's gonna be Nick Frost. I am so gassed about this, right? Nick Frost is an absolute icon, and do you know what? He is the perfect choice for Hagrid. So, first things first, he's got the right physique for the role. Sort of. He's obviously not 8 feet tall like Hagrid. He's actually quite short, to be fair, but he is very broad-shouldered, and he's got a very bulky vibe about him. A bit of CGI magic, and he's going to look perfect. They will definitely have their work cut out with the height thing, as he's actually only 5'7", but Robbie Coltrane wasn't exactly a towering giant at 6'1", so I don't think it will really matter that much. If they could make Robbie Coltrane look like Hagrid, they can probably make Nick Frost look like Hagrid. I think it's more important that he's got a sort of heavy set frame, and Nick Frost definitely does. Right, now, Nick Frost is a wizard, no pun intended, at playing the dumb nice guy. In the nicest way possible, Hagrid is not the sharpest tool in the shed. He's got a heart of gold, right, but he doesn't really think before he speaks, and he makes a long, never-ending string of dumb decisions that get him into sticky situations constantly. But he does mean well, and he wouldn't intentionally hurt a fly. Unless that fly insulted Dumbledore. Anyway, so Nick Frost is a master at playing this sort of character. Think about his character Ed in Shaun of the Dead, or even more so, PC Danny Butterman in Hot Fuzz. Legendary performances, both of them, but Nick Frost seems to effortlessly play the not-so-smart, well-meaning guy. In that sense, you almost feel like he was born to play Hagrid, to be honest. Also, Hagrid is hilarious, right? Not in like a witty Fred and George kind of way, but like a sort of bloody hell, what's he done now sort of way. Just him being obsessed with like one horrible monster after the next is ridiculous and hilarious in itself. Like, right, so Buckbeak I can understand, but Aragog, or the blast-ended screws, what was that about? But Hagrid is just hilarious to watch in terms of the way he speaks to people and the things he does. There's loads of comedy in Hagrid's character, both purely in the way he looks, but also the way he speaks and the things that he does. It makes perfect sense to have a comic actor play him. And Nick Frost has 100,000,000% got the comedic intelligence and timing to absolutely smash it. One of my favourite films ever is The Boat That Rocked, and Nick Frost's character Dave in that is absolutely brilliant. He's got this whole protective big brotherly thing going on with the main character in the film, Carl, but he's like a really, really bad role model towards him, which is kind of like Hagrid and Harry in a weird way. Their relationship starts off with him being a sort of fatherly figure to Harry, and then kind of rapidly turns into Harry, like constantly helping Hagrid out of bad situations. In fact, by the end, it kind of feels like Harry is the fatherly figure to Hagrid, to be honest. I'm not saying that Hagrid is the same as Dave in The Boat That Rocked, by the way, I just absolutely love that film. Aside from the funniness and dumbness of Hagrid's character, he's also actually really emotional. He's actually one of the most emotional characters in the whole series if you think about it. He wears his heart on his sleeve and he easily gets upset, offended or even angry. He's actually quite childlike in his behaviour and how he handles emotions. When something happens, he just sort of locks himself away in his hut for days and avoids everyone. But he's also seriously loyal and he would do literally anything for Dumbledore and Harry. He's impulsive and he acts on his heart rather than his brain. Nick Frost has definitely got the rage to pull this sort of character off. We even see a little bit of that in Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. But we also see it in his character in Fighting With My Family, Ricky Knight, who's a sort of rough around the edges, loud, larger than life character, but he's got an emotional depth to him as well. I mean, look at him. He's already got the whole Hagrid beard going on. Hagrid's character is also really naive when you think about it. Like, it's weird because he sometimes seems like this streetwise guy with a lot of life experience. And I guess he kind of is that in a way, but he's also really easy to trick and he doesn't seem to clock dangers, even when they're like right in front of him. Aragog or the Centaurs, anyone? And his naivety actually puts Harry and Ron and Hermione in danger several times. Now, look at Danny Butterman in Hot Fuzz not believing that anything dodgy could possibly be going on in the village in the movie, when it's like the most obvious thing in the world, and you can see exactly how Nick Frost will smash this element of Hagrid's character. Now, Hagrid's character is, I think, supposed to have a West Country accent. The way his dialogue and speech is written in the books lines up a lot with West Country dialect. The writing style I think generally leans itself to that sort of accent. Robbie Coltrane obviously chose to play it like that as well, and I think it would make sense for Nick Frost to do that also. Which is perfect if you think about it, because his character Danny in Hot Fuzz obviously had an iconic West Country accent. He'll have to change it up from that a little bit so that it doesn't sound too similar to Danny and sounds a bit more rustic, but he's going to absolutely smash it. So, if you couldn't tell, I think Nick Frost is the perfect casting for Hagrid. In fact, I would say it's by far the most obvious choice of the casting decisions made so far. If from now on the rest are like this, then we're in safe hands. Never mind Brett Goldstein, maybe next time. Also, if you watched my last video, I was discussing that Jessica Hines could be set to play Mrs. Weasley, and that, if she did, would be a fun little reunion for Nick Frost and Jessica Hines, as they both of course starred in Space together, and even in Shaun of the Dead. All we would need then is Simon Pegg to play Mr. Weasley, and then we're all sorted. I'm joking, I actually think that would be a terrible idea. Right, that is that. If you enjoyed this video, drop it a like and subscribe to the channel for more.